Coming home, Emily exhaled heavily and propped her head up. And then the sergeant told her that with her heavy sighs she plunged the world into universal sadness and asked what had happened. The girl looked at her and asked if a human girl would be considered strange if she said she was in love with an orc warrior. Greg continued drawing with a smile and said that it sounded very crazy, and it was, because if her family found out, they would break her legs. But then it suddenly dawned on him. He remembered Kuga yelling at him. And then with a devilish smile he became alarmed and said that this premature baby. At this time in the Frontier estate, the Count was crying while eating meat and said that he could not stop crying. Wiping his face, he said that he simply could not believe what good people his sons had grown up to be. Lloyd looked at him condescendingly and said that he drank too much, and the princess thought that she could understand his happiness because the eldest son was a good diplomat and the youngest was one of the best graduates in the kingdom. She remembered the words of her father that he asked to show him what she was capable of, and she needed to either seduce him or become a master of the sword and show him something that he could be proud of. Sarazad, looking down, meaningfully kept silent. Then Julian said with a smile that as soon as he received an appointment from the capital, he would try even harder and become someone he could be even more proud of, to which his father said that everything was fine as it was. And then, wiping away his tears, he said that he was simply glad that he got what he wanted, and asked him to return home if it became too hard, because he would be happy if the two of them were just nearby. Then the princess was completely dumbfounded. Tears began to flow down her eyes. She abruptly stood up from the table, which surprised the hero. The girl abruptly headed for the exit and said that she would probably go. Then the protagonist looked at her with disdain and asked when they would return to the negotiations. Sarazad approached the door and told him to forget about it, and then asked if it sounded too indifferent, to which he said that it was indeed so. Julian looked at her with an upset look and meaningfully remained silent. The hero saw him and frowned and wondered what was wrong with his face, and the girl ran all in tears, covering her face. There was a full moon outside and it was cloudy. The designer looked out the window with a terrible look and meaningfully remained silent.